This new year, my mom sent a message in the family group chat that said, "There's no room for me or my kids at my sister's place." Then my sister messaged me privately and said, "But leave the kids with a nanny and come cook dinner as always." And my dad just added, "Don't make us feel bad, we still want our gifts." I didn't make a scene, I just stopped showing up. I'm the middle child of 3. My older sister Whitney is the favorite because she married a guy who owns a chain of car washes pulling in $600,000 a year. My younger brother Kyle is the baby, so he gets a pass on everything. I'm just the one who cooks. That's been my role since I was 14. Every holiday, every birthday, every family event, I'm in the kitchen from 6 a.m. while everyone else sits in the living room laughing and drinking. I don't get thanked, I get critiqued. Too much salt. The rolls were better last year. Why didn't you make the sweet potato casserole like mom used to? I have 2 kids. Nora is 7 and Eli is 5. There. Dad left when Eli was a baby and hasn't paid a dime of child support in 4 years. I work full-time as a dental hygienist making $52,000 and I stretch every dollar until it screams. Christmas gifts alone set me back $400 last year and not one person even said thank you. My parents have never once offered to babysit, never once asked if I needed help, but every holiday they expect me to drive 90 minutes with both kids, cook a full spread for 14 people, clean up after, and then drive home while everyone else sleeps off their wine. This year the group chat message came on December 18th. Mom wrote it like an announcement. New Year's will be at Whitney's new house. Space is limited, so just adults this year. No kids. Whitney followed up in my DMs 10 minutes later. But we still need you to do the food, obviously. Can you drop the kids at a sitter and come early? Like 7 a.m.? I need the brisket started by 8. Then Dad chimed in on the group chat. And don't forget we're doing gifts this year. Everyone brings something for everyone. No excuses. So let me get this straight. My kids aren't welcome, but my cooking is. My money for gifts is. My time and labor are. Just not me as a person with a family. I sat on my couch that night after putting Nora and Eli to bed, and I read those messages 4 more times. Then I typed a reply. Sounds good. Happy holidays. And I meant none of it. On December 23rd, Whitney texted asking for my brisket recipe so she could buy the ingredients. I sent it. She asked what sides I was planning. I listed them. She asked if I could also do a dessert because her mother-in-law was coming and loved my pecan pie. I said sure. On December 30th, I turned my phone off, took Nora and Eli to a cabin I'd booked 3 weeks earlier in the mountains. It cost me $280 for 2 nights and I'd been saving since October. We made hot chocolate. We watched movies. We built a snowman that fell over twice. Eli named it Frank. Nora made him a scarf out of a sock. At midnight on New Year's Eve, I let both kids stay up and we banged pots on the porch and screamed into the cold air and laughed until our stomachs hurt. Nora said it was the best night of her life. I cried in the bathroom after they fell asleep because I realized it was mine too. I turned my phone back on January 2nd. There were 43 messages in the group chat. The first few were confused. Where are you? Then annoyed. The brisket isn't started. Then angry. Whitney had to order catering last minute and it cost $1,100. Dad called me ungrateful. Mom said I ruined the entire evening and embarrassed Whitney in front of her in-laws. Kyle said I was being petty. He hadn't even noticed I was gone until Whitney mentioned the food. That tells you everything. Whitney sent a separate message that just said you owe me $1,100 for the caterer. I didn't respond to any of it. 3 days later, Mom called. I let it ring. She called again. I picked up the 3rd time. She started with, "You have some explaining to do." I said, "No, I don't." She said, "We were counting on you." I said, "You were counting on my cooking. There's a difference." She said, "That's the same thing." I said, "I know that's how you see it. That's the problem." She went quiet for a second, then said, "Whitney is furious and you need to pay her back." I said, "Whitney lives in a house with a home theater and a heated pool. She can cover her own catering." Mom said, "You're tearing this family apart." I said, "This family was fine without me and my kids at the table. You said so yourselves." She started crying and said I was twisting her words. I said, "I'm reading them back to you exactly." She hung up. Dad sent one text that night. "You've always been difficult." I left it on read. It's March now. None of them have met my kids in 4 months. Nobody's called to fix it, just to blame me.